Hello everybody, welcome back to yet another episode of Life Stories. My name is Trent, as you know, and today we got some more stories coming at you from Reddit/idontworkherelady. So, without further ado, let's get this video started. Our story today is titled, Another One Bites the Dust. It's long, and it's my first rodeo. A little backstory. I'm a painter. No, not a house painter, but someone who paints on canvases. I paint landscapes, and only landscapes, and I've been doing it for a few years now. I get my paints from a hobby store that has just about everything, and it's a well-known local store that changed hands in the last couple of years. All spelling errors, formatting errors, and story errors are mine and mine alone, so forgive me. On the day this story is about, I was in my usual cargo shorts, which I wear year-round, even when there's snow outside, tennis shoes, and a nice pullover shirt. Think fancy t-shirt with a collar. Oh, and I'm like 60-ish. I hadn't had a haircut in months, and also hadn't shaved in like a week, so I was rather scruffy looking. Think a clean homeless guy with clean clothes. And that's a big thing with my wife, as she insists that I don't leave the house looking like I've lived in my clothes for a week. As you might guess, I'm a messy painter, and I tend to get paint on my clothes. So I change into something clean, and without any rips or tears before leaving the house. I was looking at some brushes on an end cap, that part of the shelves at each end of the aisle, when this woman clears her throat. Now, I get stuff in my throat and have a rattle sound when clearing, so my brain just filtered out the sound, and I moved a little to one side and closer to the end cap in case I was in the way. Once again came that throaty sound like a frog choking on an oversized cricket while trying to sing. This time, I looked at the source of the sound and find a woman, maybe 5'2", a little thick, with a short fake blonde haircut. I think the ladies call it a bob. A cart with some plastic plant foam bricks in it, and raised eyebrows. Now, the uniform here is black pants and a store polo shirt, of any number of colors. Oh, and each and every employee has a black apron on, except for management. It's a pretty good-sized store, and the only one of its kind for an hour or two in any direction, so the store monopolizes the region. Cheaper prices can be found in the big city, but that's almost 2 hours away, and by the time you've spent the gas to get there and back, you've not really saved a whole lot. Now that you know the backstory, the scene played out like this. Me is the old gnome-looking guy. CL is Crazy Lady. The assistant manager is Judy, and the manager is Katie. I start off by saying, "Is there something wrong with your throat?" I asked a little concerned. Crazy Lady says, "No, there's nothing wrong with my throat. What's wrong with you is you just standing there instead of helping paying customers." "Ah," I said, instantly recognizing the Karen in the wild from the many tales I've heard over the years. "You think that I work here?" "No, duh, I see you in here all the time. I know you work here." "I'm in here because I buy things." "Yeah, and the other day, I saw that you got an employee discount, so I absolutely know you work here. So help me find my stuff." Me, with a faint smile, "Stuff? Oh, you need to go to the Stuff Mart." I nearly doubled over with laughter as her brow became a maze of lines, as her two working brain cells spun crazily inside her cranium trying to figure out Stuff Mart, and whether there actually might be a place called Stuff Mart or if I was pulling her leg. Then she waved her hand through the air, as if clearing it of smoke, and said, "Never mind, you help me, now." I looked down at my cargo shorts and then said, "Okay, for the sake of the argument, let's say I do work here. Obviously, I'm not wearing the proper uniform, so this must be my day off, and such that would mean I'm not working today. So tell me again, why would I help you if I'm not working today?" "Because you work here," she screeches and stomps her foot. "But don't even the peons get days off when they don't have to work?" Now, with a really screeching voice, the Crazy Lady yells, "If you don't help me right this minute, I'm going to get you fired." Then came the mantra of all Karens, "Get me your manager." I could hear the clippity-clop of dress shoes clattering across the tiled floor at warp speed, and knew help was soon to arrive. I reached over and picked up a paintbrush and said, "This is a paintbrush, you know. These fine bristles are all natural and can help bring your painting to life." CL looked at me with eyes wide and mouth open, and prepared for the early arrival of many flying insects should they happen to be landing. And this brought on a 2-foot stomp. "What? What are you babbling about? I want you to find my things!" she shouted just as Judy and Katie rounded the corner of an aisle to see what all the shouting was about. "Oh, but where do you suppose they could be?" I feigned ignorance. Judy spoke first. "What's going on here?" Before life on this earth could draw a single breath, CL let out a string of, "This stupid idiot of a worker won't help me, has been rude to me, attacked me with that paintbrush, and I want the manager, and I want him fired for being too stupid to be working. They should have laws about people being too stupid to have jobs. I want my things found, and I want them for free for dealing with such an incompetent imbecile. I know the owner, and he will fire all of you if you do not help me." Judy looked back at me and then covered her mouth with her hand and turned her face to keep from laughing. Katie, who's in her 40s and looks to be in her 20s, suppressed a chuckle and walked right up to me. She ran her finger down my cheek and said, "You know, if you stayed a little while, I might take you home with me. We could have a lot of fun, you and I." "What?" cried CL, whose face went beet red, and she took a step back from her cart while Judy ran off, doing her best not to laugh. That sounds like an employee discount I want to explore," I said, seeing the knowing look in Katie's eyes. "Oh my hell, what's going on here?" CL screamed as though she was watching a murder being committed right in front of her. "Are you serious? I want someone to call the owner right now. Right this damn minute. This kind of behavior will not be tolerated in this store. I will have you both fired right the damn now." Katie and I are about the same height, and when Katie kissed my ear, CL just started hopping around like a mad rabbit, stomping both her feet into the floor. The gal at the register and Judy came rushing to us. Judy with the store phone, and she said she was calling the owner. CL grabbed the phone out of Judy's hand and was running in circles, waiting for the call to go through. Then Katie's phone rang, and, "Don't go anywhere, you," she purred to me. Katie answered the phone while looking at CL dead in the eyes. "Yeah, I'm the manager, and I'm the owner, and yeah, this is my husband. And you know what? I don't want your business. I don't want you in my store. I don't want to sell you anything, and I don't want your money. I do ban, and I will ban anyone and everyone who's rude to one of my employees, and you are banned. You will leave, or I will call the police and have you arrested for accosting my husband. Oh yeah, he gets an employee discount because I'm the owner, and I can give that discount to anyone I please." Oh, the CL was having none of it. "Oh, this is BS! You just called her Cell! I want the owner, and I want the owner here now!" Katie looked at Judy and asked, "Have you called them yet?" "Yeah," Judy said. "They're on their way." A minute went by with the CL stomping on the ground when 2 of our local officers came around the end aisle. Both officers knew Katie and Judy, as they often got stuff from their wives on the way home from their shift, and so they rushed the CL just as they threw the phone at me, hitting me in the chest. Both of the police officers were of the family pack variety and stood well over 6 feet. They manhandled the CL pretty easily and got handcuffs on her. One took her outside, and Katie told the other that she just wanted her trespassed, and knowing my wife, like everyone in the town does, they didn't even ask me if I wanted to press charges. Katie was the boss, and what she says goes. I took Katie around the waist and said, "You can be quite the vixen when you want to be, can't you?" She looked at me with soft eyes and said, "Nobody messes with my husband except me, and in my own store to boot." Note, Katie and I have been married since she was 20-something and I was 40-something. It wasn't a love at first sight thing. It was a gradual meeting of the minds and meeting of the hearts. We were neighbors and just saw each other often, and then we started having drinks at each other's house until we finally kissed. It was that first kiss that got the snowball rolling down the hill, and a year later, we were married. Her family was not really happy with her marrying an older man, and they let us know it at every opportunity, so we moved to a different town in a faraway state. My family had thought that I'd lost my mind, and it was a relief to be so far away from them, too. I'd never married up to that point, and while it's hard to explain, after that first kiss, we just knew that we'd one day be married and began to plan for it. I'd saved up quite a bit of money from my paintings, and we'd both worked, me at the forge and her in retail. I sold my house, and that left us with a nice little nest egg, so that when the store went on the market, Katie jumped at it, and she'd been running that store for over a decade now. Her income was enough that I could quit the forge and paint full-time and be a house husband for our 2 kids, who are now both out of high school. Our marriage now is stronger than it ever has been, and our oldest is planning her own wedding. My wife has a number of stories about Karens and Chads in the wild, and I might write up some of those in the future if folks like this. Hey, come on, you gotta love it. A story of forbidden love and arrested Karens. Ah, wonderful. Anyways, guys, with that story out of the way, and an especially long one at that, we're out of time for today's episode. As usual, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. My name is Trent, this is Life Stories. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Reddit content coming your way, and I hope to see you guys soon.